This week is all about grammar bootcamp and book talks. So I'm going to be sharing with you all some of the activities that we're doing this week as a class. Hey everyone, my name is Bridget Spackman. I'm a fourth grade ELA and social studies teacher in Central Pennsylvania. I have a passion for literacy instruction, authentic learning, and rigorous teaching. So if this is something that you are also passionate about, I invite you to hit that subscribe button and that notification bell so you can get notified the next time I upload a new video. So this week, it's the start of a brand new week, and in fact, it is going to be the final week before we get started with our unit instruction, which I'm very excited about. So this is going to be the first week where they're really going to feel the pressure of submitting assignments and getting things kind of in more of a routine versus it being just the beginning of the school year. So I wanted to share a few of the things that we're doing today. So one of the first things that we're going to be doing this week is talking about what is a book talk. So I created a page within my Schoology account, which is going to give some really good examples of book talks that I have found on YouTube. So I have a book talk done by a teacher here. I will also be showing them one myself today, and then they are also going to be looking at a movie trailer for the book Scar Island. So we're going to go over what makes a really good book talk. They're going to have these different components of it. And afterwards, they are going to have to answer a discussion question. So there is a discussion post right here. So after watching the two book talks, what did you notice? What did the speaker include when telling you about the story? And the discussion tell what you think are essential to include within a book talk. Be sure to explain why you believe this. Your discussion should be about 5 to 8 sentences long. So that is what they're going to work on this morning. It's going to be fairly short, sweet, simple, to the point, but I am going to be reading another text. The book that I'm going to be sharing today is going to be A Chair for My Mother. This is one that we were supposed to read last week, but I didn't get the opportunity to do. So I figured I would do this with a book talk. So this is going to be the text that I read and we just discussed today as a class, because tomorrow is going to be the second part to that lesson. So that's going to be our reading component that we have for today. The second part that we're going to be doing today is starting Grammar Bootcamp. Now, this is a product that I have created and it is available in my store, but it takes them through 4 to 5 days if you want to include the assessment, where they review specific concepts within grammar, nouns, verbs, tense, adjectives. So all of that is going to be included in this resource. It's not in pretty color, but we're not going to judge that. So today's purpose is one, introducing them to their grammar boot camps. Now it does come in a pretty color version if you want to take the time to print out each of the covers in color. I did not choose to do that this go around. So the kids will have an opportunity to color it at some point, but inside of it, the first thing that they're going to do today is learn the Grammar Bootcamp song, where they're going to have to do a chant where it talks about nouns, verbs, pronouns, adjectives. All of those components are in that song. Today's focus, on top of them being introduced to their chant, is going to be on nouns. So I'm going to take them through a couple of these pages. We're going to do some whiteboard practice as well. So you can see here that they can just fill out some of those pieces. They have some matching activities that they're going to do. And then finally, they're going to be doing an underlining practice. So that is going to be part of the practice, but they're also going to get to work with other cadets within Grammar Bootcamp today. And so they have tires where you have a common noun, proper noun, and pronouns, and they're going to have to do a sort with their partner. And so I'm going to be going around as a drill sergeant, checking to make sure that they have it right and seeing who can have the fastest time when it comes to sorting their cards. Maybe we'll do this a couple of times if we have the opportunity, but it is going to be good fun, good fun. So that is going to be the focus for today. Each day is going to, again, take them through a different component. The goal is that by the end of the week, they want to earn their Grammar Boot Camp Cadets badge. dog tag. These are some that I've just purchased off of Amazon. I will leave a link down below. It comes with 100 of them, and so I can use these for a few years, like maybe 2 or 3 years, and they're going to earn one of these at the very end of the week. So that's going to be the goal. The best part about all this is that I did find several years ago a military uniform, like an army uniform. So I will be dressing up in this for the duration of the grammar bootcamp time. So each day is going to be me coming into class and being a drill sergeant. I hope that I don't go insane by the end of the week. We shall see. So I have all of the grammar bootcamp books ready to go and copied, stapled, so now students can just use them for the remainder of the week. I also have some of the activities for the rest of the week. You can see I have those for today. These are going to be for later on during the week, and then I'm going to prep a couple of other things. Finally, over in the book talks wall, we have talked about the 40 book challenge. So students are very well aware. I need to get a little bit better organization system here for logging their books and being able to pull some of those. I also need to make some more copies of these today where I can have some 5s and 10s little tags. And then I have also printed out and gotten ready our book talk template and rubric. So this week we are only going to focus on really just writing a book talk and speaking in a book talk. That's going to be the whole goal. I'm going to walk them through step by step what this is going to look like for the remainder of the year. So I also have a rubric that's going to be available. And again, these are available within my store. I'm going to leave a link down below if you want to go and check these out. However, these, including these, are not my resource. This is something by Jill Schaefer that I've used for many years. I've kind of adapted it a little bit to have the numbers that I would like, but it's a free resource, and I will also log those down in the description box. So that is pretty much it for today. I am not teaching social studies today. That is going to be something that I only do 3 days out of our 6-day cycle, just because of the way our schedule ends up working out. So I'm not going to do that until later on this week, but I will share some snippets for what we are doing within our social studies on Thursday and Friday. So I'm going to go ahead and spend the remainder of my special time just pulling together some of the resources and making sure that this week is going to run as smoothly as possible. So I'll see you in the morning. Welcome back. Today we are doing the second day of boot camp, which is incredibly exciting. The kids did such a great job yesterday, and I'm going to show you a few of their booklets. So first of all, in order to keep my kids' books separated, I decided just to take a colored paper and then I just wrapped it around the set of books. So I have my block 1 and my block 2. I feel like it's been a very long time since I've had separate blocks because I was teaching everything with multi-age. So this is how I ended up organizing it. So you can see here, this is one of my students' books. They just took notes of all of the different items here. We ended up doing some matching together as a class, which they did phenomenal with. And then they also had the nouns practice. Now, this one is a little bit different because you have to underline one of the nouns and then you're going to circle, well, we ended up circling, but then you circle whether it is a proper noun, pronoun, or a common noun. So here you can see we did store, Japan, dog, dad, and I had my students kind of chime in. So I would read the sentence and then they would tell me which one to circle, and then they would follow it up with what type of a noun it was. So I try to authentically record all of my students' responses for each of the different blocks. So I have this magnetic file folder holder, which will stay in this spot, and it just kind of houses everything. So I have my 2 different writers' notebooks, and then I also have my 2 grammar bootcamp books. So I have block 1, block 2, and then what I do is I will just use it with my document camera, which is up here, and it'll kind of display right here in this little area. And today we are going to go over verbs. So we have a little bit of filling in, not as much. We have circling the verbs here, which I'm going to give them some practice. And then we're going to talk about verb tense. So again, they have some notes that they're going to end up taking. We have the 3 different tenses that we're going to write here with these 2 verbs. And then we're going to do a little bit of whiteboard practice today. So that is going to be the goal there. Now for the fun activity, this one's probably my favorite. So if you've ever played Battleship as a kid, which for me, I loved playing Battleship. I played it with my cousin Eric. It was just one of my favorite things to do. So I decided to incorporate a little bit of Battleship into this activity. So for the activity, you have the game board, which will come in a full sheet of paper. I just kind of cut mine to go long ways just because I think it's a little bit more fun. I mean, you could absolutely just leave it in the full sheet of paper because this side also has where it says past, present, and future here, but I covered it up so you can kind of see it right there behind that paper. And then what you'll do is you will take your ships. So you have 2 ships that hold 3 spaces, and then they will glue them down to their boards without letting their partner see. And then they're going to glue down, 2 of the big ships and then 3 of the smaller ships. So they're going to glue them wherever they want them. And so once they have their ships placed, they're going to try to destroy all of their ships. So I will tell them, let's see, I'm going to do screaming. I am screaming at you. So once they say screaming, they are going to either do a check mark for when they have said it, and then they're going to try to do an X for a hit. So if somebody else comes back and they say, I gave, they're going to put an X where gave is for. So under give, they're going to find the past, they're going to put an X there. So again, the whole goal is that they try to destroy all of their ships. So the students are trying to use one of the tenses of all of the verbs that are up here. So this will definitely be an activity that's going to take just a little bit longer today. I'm going to try to account for that and just borrow a little bit of time from reading, which today is going to be more of a model lesson rather than actually doing something. Check out that sunlight coming in. So yesterday what we did was we talked about the purpose of the book talk and what to include inside of the book talk. And we also reviewed a little bit of the 40 book challenge station, the book talk station. So today what we're going to do is I am going to model for them how to write a book talk. So I've taken the template that they would have here. And all I did was using Adobe Acrobat Reader, which is totally for free for everyone. It should be on your computer. And I printed it using the poster feature. So it printed it out on 4 pages. You can kind of see here where I've matched it up. And I have 2 different versions. So I have, well, not 2 versions, but 2 of these ready to go for each of my blocks. So we read, well, I was originally going to read A Chair for My Mother. However, I realized that I never finished reading Sylvester and the Magic Pebble from last week. So we decided to read that one instead. So I finished reading this one, which has a really good problem, solution, all of that. And I think it works really well for this book talk template. So today I'm going to model for them how to fill this in using that book. And that's really all she wrote. So that is kind of today's focus. A lot of it's going to be spent on the verb tense, which I think is going to be something really, really important for me to hit today, especially talking a little bit, I'm not going to overwhelm them, about how to change the spelling for some of these words. So cross your fingers for me because this is going to be quite a challenge for some of my kiddos today. But I'm hoping that I can scaffold it enough that they're not going to feel overwhelmed, and hopefully the battleship idea will really get them hooked and engaged and excited about today's lesson. So I am going to go ahead and finish preparing. I'm going to eat breakfast because yesterday my tummy was rumbling, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Just kidding. I want to quickly just go over this. they loved it yesterday. They did such a phenomenal job with it as far as sorting these out into whether they are common, proper, or pronouns. When I was checking students off as they got them correct, they got to stand up and walk around and help check other students and give some assistance there. So that was a really fun and engaging way for them to feel as though, you know, hey, I did get this right and I should be able to go and help others. So I heard a lot of teachers out there in my groups, which felt really awesome. Okay, so now in all seriousness, that is going to be in the end of today. I will catch you guys tomorrow. So it is currently my lunchtime and I haven't had an opportunity to share with you all. Things have been a little bit chaotic this morning. We have a teacher who is currently out and we did not have a sub, so we had to split her kids, get all the resources together, and so things have just been a little bit not normal. So I wanted to take a minute during my lunch to be able to show you guys some of the things that we are working on today. So first off, it's very interesting because my block 1 and my block 2 are kind of together, but also a little bit off at the same time. So this morning I did my book talk template for the book, this one, Sylvester and the Magic Pebble. So I have it all written out. We did this together. A lot of the times I would have the students tell me like what to write specifically. So this is kind of like a shared writing format. However, I did not share the pen with my students just because I was a little bit limited on time. So we wrote out this one, and then yesterday with my block 2, I did this version here. So they both have had now the opportunity to observe how to do a book talk. Originally, I had planned that we were going to read the book Extra Yarn together and that students were going to work within either a partner or a small group to write a collaborated book talk. However, just because of the schedule and some of the timing with things, and because I have extra kids in my classroom, I have chosen to not do that today. So they are both currently caught up on the same path. Sorry, thought somebody was at my door. So we've both read Extra Yarn. We've talked a little bit about the story itself. And then tomorrow, I'm gonna provide each of the groups with one of these giant pages like this, where they're gonna have an opportunity to work and write together. So that is what we have done a little bit today. Here's what we have done for Grammar Bootcamp. So this is where we're a little bit off in both of my classes. My block 1, which is my homeroom, has already played the battleship game itself. However, my block 2 has not done this. So when we come back from lunch, I have block 2 in the afternoon. They are going to finish up and play their battleship game. Now, you're probably wondering, well, this is all laminated. My students loved this so much that I decided to create preset game boards. So I have 6 of these that I am making currently. I laminated them, and then I'm going to place this into our goal station, which are those black boxes over there. This will provide students with the opportunity to be able to collaborate, work on this skill a little bit further. I can use it for small groups. So I created 6 of those game boards that already have the ships on them. So I'm using this one to be able to model for my students this afternoon. Now my block 1, however, already did that. So block 1 caught up with the lesson that my block 2 had already done. And then we started talking about adjectives. So we have verb tense. We did adjectives today. Here's the notes from today. So we talked about how it's a describing word. We use our 5 senses. We practiced here. We did some additional practice here together. So I would read it out and the students would help me fill things in for it. And then the activity itself was a super secret headquarters assignment. So for this assignment, headquarters has sent each partner a gunny sack. And within the gunny sack are 3 objects. So you can see each of them has some different objects in there. I just went around my room and I found some different things that I could place on the inside of them. So every single gunny sack or paper bag has its own unique 3 objects. What they have to do is then they are going to take the cards, so the gunny sack adjectives, they're going to write the item that it is, and they have to come up with 4 different adjectives to describe that item. Once students have do that, they have the opportunity to pick one of those cards and then share it to the class to see if the class can guess what it is. Here are some kind of examples. So we have this one. I stapled each groups together so that way I can go back and just kind of do my anecdotal notes on that. I have chalk. We had dice, which the kids guessed this one immediately. I was super proud of them. A key, they did not do as well on that one as I'd like. So they had the opportunity to do that. I'm going to do that with my block 2 today. I'm a little bit sweaty. So that's going to be the pretty much the activities that we're going to do. I'm trying to get them both matched up. After today, both classes should be in the exact same spot, which is a really good feeling. So after today, we're coming down to the very last lesson for our grammar boot camp, but the kids have been loving it. They've been engaged, they love the activities, they've been excited each time, and they're doing a fantastic job with all of the different concepts that I've been teaching them. So very, very proud of them. I am gonna go ahead, enjoy the rest of my lunch, and then I will catch you all tomorrow to share what we're gonna be doing that day. One of the things that I'm really trying to work on is my timing. I feel like between my 2 different blocks, I either am ahead in one block or I'm behind in another. And yes, I know that there are 2 different sets of kids. However, I feel like I should not be as off as I am at the moment. Today is the final day of grammar boot camp before we take our assessment. So the kids are going to be doing a test tomorrow that is going to challenge them on all of the different skills that we've been learning within grammar boot camp. So today we are doing subject and predicates. So in this activity, students are going to receive a subject and predicate page after we complete our grammar boot camp books where we take notes. But inside of this page, they're going to have a clipboard, their pencil, and they're simply going to be walking around the classroom looking for cards like this. When they find the card like this, they have to take the letter and they're going to write it down in that box. They will then copy the sentence down however it's written, and they are going to circle or underline the subject and then underline the predicate. So that is what they will do. I've already placed them all around my room. So you can see I have one here. I have others that are kind of hidden, others that are on the side of the walls. It just makes it a little bit trickier for them. So they have to go and find it. It is an independent activity, but once they have all the letters written down, they have to unscramble it to find the word, which is victory. In order to ensure that my students are really prepared for this activity, along with just doing some of the note sections, which I can show you what that looks like. They have a notes page, and then they also have a practice as well. And so with that, I will also do some whiteboard practice where they will have the sentence and then we will read it out loud and they will identify the subject and predicate. And so I have about 7 or 8 of these sentences that we will work on together. The next part that we're doing today, which is actually taking a little bit longer than expected, is going to be the book talks. So I wanted to scaffold this process. This was the example that we did yesterday together. I have one for one block, the other one for the other block. And we took the story extra yarn, which unfortunately is in my office, and I was not able to get to it because my bathroom is still being redone. So I just simply watched a YouTube video. I don't typically try to do that. However, it is a really good one. It's by Scholastic. They don't need to see the words, they just need to understand the story itself. So I was okay with using that version. I'll leave a link down in the description box so that you guys can see that story itself in the video. Once we were done, we went on ahead and talked about different components. We talked about the character, the problem, the setting, the author, the genre. And so students are basically going through, and I've given them a large version of our book talk page. And with their group, they are completing the book talk template. So they are trying to share the pen, which is why you can see it being done in different colors here. So that way I can see who's writing what, but they have to have a conversation about it. They have to discuss it and decide how are they going to write that down. I like doing these types of activities at the beginning of the year because it really enforces collaborative working. It allows students to be able to hear one another out because one person is writing a certain sentence. They all have to agree on the sentence beforehand and then have somebody write it. And then they all share the pen, which is really nice. And so this will very naturally scaffold this entire lesson for me. And so that the next time that they do a book talk, they're going to be doing this with their own text, but I'm going to start with a picture book. I'm not going to give them something that's a chapter book because it tends to be a little bit too challenging. So we're going to start with a picture book and see how they do with that one. But I've been very, very impressed with the work that they've done so far. So other than that, we have not really been able to do much of anything else. Tomorrow is Constitution Day, and so we are required to have lesson plans for Constitution Day, which I will share with you all tomorrow morning. So I want to share one other thing. So I'm trying to get my son, Blaine, to read more books. And it is a little bit of a challenge to get him to read. He likes math. He's a math guy. But I saw this book, The Trail, and I decided that it would be a really good one for me to read with him, but also then do a book talk on for my students. And so along with us practicing book talks, one of the biggest components is that for me as a teacher is that I need to model that for my students on a daily basis. So I will oftentimes pick out picture books or chapter books that I've read in the past. I will write up a book talk template really quick, and then I will share it with my students at the beginning of class. So I'm going to be doing that a lot over the next couple of weeks, and hopefully I can share with you all some of the book talks that I'm going to be doing with my students. But very excited about this. If you've read it, I'd love to know your thoughts down in the chat, the little comment box. I don't know what it's called. Just let me know. I am going to go ahead and start getting ready for my class, and I will catch you guys in the morning. I wanted to give you a really easy tip for when you're trying to store the materials for any specific unit like Grammar Bootcamp. So I use these kind of little pocket sleeves or zipper pouches. I will leave a link down in the description box. These are fantastic, and I store all of my materials inside of them, but that's not the tip. The tip is if you have any materials that you place around the room, but you don't really want to laminate it because I don't really laminate mine. If you, on the back, put a piece of tape and then you can add another piece of tape, it makes it really easy to take off and not tear the paper itself. So super quick and simple. I learned that from an art teacher at my previous school, and I've used it ever since because my little rolls of tape just come right off without ripping anything. And now I can reuse these for next year. This teacher is oh so very tired, and I am so grateful that it is Friday. So today we have two different things that we're going to be doing. We are wrapping up Grammar Bootcamp by taking our Grammar Bootcamp test. It is a test that is already made. It has 3 parts into it. This is what I'm going to be handing to my students, and it's going to challenge them on all the things that we have learned with Grammar Bootcamp. When we're done with that, they will then be awarded their dog tag. I think this is the part that the kids are really, really excited about, and I just love seeing them wear it around the school. So that is going to be what they're going to receive at the very end of Grammar Bootcamp today. But on top of that, today is our Constitution Day. This is a day that we are celebrating it. We are required to have lesson plans, and so I found something that was very simple that I could use year after year for my lessons. And I like to make things a little bit more fun versus it just feeling very worksheet-ish. I would just like to point out that a lot of the resources that I saw online talked a lot about creating a class constitution. But because we have our shared vision, which is pretty similar to our class constitution, I didn't want to redo that form of an activity. So we talked about how our constitution and our shared vision are similar, and then we did another fun activity. So this is a resource from the think tank. She had a constitution escape room pack, and basically what it is there's 4 different clues. Each clue has a passage with a question that they have to answer and then a cipher at the very end. So there's 1, there's 2, there's 3, and then there's 4. Then there's an additional page that has a 4-digit code, and then they have some multiple choice questions that they have to answer. So what I did is I told my students that they had to read the passages first and answer the 4 questions. I would then check their questions to make sure that they got these 4 questions correct. Once they got those correct, they were allowed to begin working on the ciphers. So I did kind of walk them through one of the ciphers a little bit just so that it would kind of guide them because I didn't want them to take super long. So I have one of the ciphers here. I have them all kind of placed around my classroom so that they can go and try to crack the code and learn the other little bits of information on the packs. Very collaborative, very fun, and the kids were excited about it this morning, and I'm excited to be able to continue this activity later. So, it's Friday. I am so grateful and thankful for that. I am going to start winding things down, hopefully heading to the house today to see how much work has been done on the bathroom. If you're interested in seeing that video, is going to be coming pretty soon. Just stay tuned to the channel overall. If you loved any of the activities, again, I'll have a lot of them linked down in the description box. I would love to know, what have you been doing this week? What's been going on with you? Just share some activities that you've been doing inside of your own classrooms. I just like hearing from you guys. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. I would love for you to subscribe to my channel, hit that notification bell, and also give it a thumbs up so that it can get spread out into the YouTube world. So thank you all so much, and I will see you next week. Bye.